It dawned on me the other day that I never mentioned how I was attaching the deck beams up there that have bulkheads on them. They aren't bolted in. Like you see, those up there are bolted in. You got two bolts running through them. The ones that have a bulkhead on them, like that one up there, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's two lag bolts going through there. And then there's another one here that has a bulkhead on it, and there's two lag bolts going into it, in addition to being glued on. And then here's another one. You can see this one may be a little bit better even, but there's two lag bolts going in there, and I've got those countersunk in there. And as much as I don't like burying things inside the frames, or any inside wood, this is a case where you just kind of had to do something. Now, do you really even need those? Probably not, because these are going to have plywood, half on each side, half-inch plywood or even 3/4-inch plywood. So that's going to form, and it's all going to be screwed and glued together too. So that's going to create a very, very strong support for that deck beam there anyway. But I just thought I'd mention that. And those aren't just wimpy little lag bolts. Those are 3/8 inch by either 10-inch or 12-inch galvanized lag bolts. So yeah, there's a relatively heavy-duty attachment there, but like I said, all those are going to have plywood glued and screwed to them too, pretty heavy plywood, so it's going to be strong. And then up here, I haven't shown this yet either, but we've got the deck beams all in here in the forward part. I don't know if you can see that, and I think maybe you can see that dip in the deck now. See how this batten laying there has got a little bit of a dip to it in the middle. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but it does. You can see it from here. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but that's the way it is. And they're all in. I got enough headroom. I got maybe about an inch here now, and I'm actually going to drop it down just a little bit more, because this final sole floor is going to come up a little bit, so I'm going to drop it down about an inch and a quarter, so that I'll have plenty of headroom up here now, and still going to be able to get my water tanks in down there. But as you get up here forward, you're going to have oodles and oodles of headroom up here. I mean, this is, what is that, a foot? Something like that? Yeah. Now, there's a step up here then that brings you into what's going to be the forward cabin. And there is still 6.5 feet of headroom up here in this forward cabin, at least in the center here. And it stays pretty good through here. And then there's going to be a bulkhead. This will be the crash bulkhead right here, number 4. That'll be the chain locker up in there. But yeah, this will actually be a relatively good sized forward cabin, I think, compared to what, if you look at a sailboat or something like that, what they've got for room in their forward cabins. This is going to be an actually pretty spacious cabin. But it is going to have the bathroom over here. It's going to have a head over here. This area right here will be a head. I was going to put a little bit of a desk type doohickey in here. Place where a person can sit and do whatever. And then the bed's going to be, again, a single, in probably bunk beds for sure up here. And there's plenty of room up here for them, and there's plenty of length here for them too. So these should be a couple of nice roomy bunk beds. I looked at a lot of different options, or thought about a lot of different options, and looked at a lot of the different designs that have been drawn up, and I just kind of decided that, you know, I wanted the living areas of the boat, I wanted it big enough so that I could have some extra people on board, could accommodate more people. And the way it is here now, we'll have accommodations, permanent accommodations for 4. We'll have a big long couch back here, probably have a table fold down. You get 2 people there if you had to. And then up in the pilot house, there's going to be at a minimum a place to sleep. 1 person can sleep up there. And then in the back cabin, aft cabin here, there'll be 2 beds, and then probably I'll put a couple of pipe berths in, maybe, or maybe I'll put a couple more permanent upper bunks in back here too. I don't know. I really don't want this as a, you know, multi-person, you know, cabin, but, you know, maybe for a couple or whatever. But I don't know about having a bunch of people back here. But if you're on a passage and you got a bigger crew, it might be nice to have, you know, places for other people to sleep too. So we'll see. But that's where things stand now. And if you look, here's one of these deck beams that's going to be flush. And you can see this hasn't been sanded or anything yet, but you can see this is going to be flush, and then plywood's going to go along here. And I'll have to recess these too, it looks like. But anyway, I just thought I'd do that little update because you haven't seen this yet, or I didn't explain how I was attaching those deck beams. If you do notice though, see, they're a 1/2 inch short, these deck beams. And George in the plans called for 2.5 inch deck beams. Well, that matched what he called for in the frames. He called for 2.5 inch frames. He said, or you can go double up 2x and make them 3 inch frames. Well, I went the doubled up 2x and went 3 inches. So now I got a 1/2 inch gap. I made it flush on this side because this is the side that's going to be showing, you know, this is going to be an inside cabin here. So the plywood will just land nice and flush on there. In here, I'll probably have to put a shim piece up along the top here to get the inside piece of plywood or whatever it is I use for sheathing inside the engine room. But that's not such a big deal because we really don't care that much how the engine room looks. But that's and I don't have all these 4 deck beams bolted into place yet. I got the flush ones glued and lag bolted in, but I don't have the rest of the bolts in. I wanted to see how it's going to look first, and it looks, I guess, just about like it's supposed to. Yeah, that's interesting how you get that little dip in there. And you know, he mentioned something about that once. He said when you're putting the plywood on, it looks like there's going to be a dip up forward, but once you get everything decked, that kind of goes away. Well, I don't know how it's going to go away. I mean, you might not notice it as much, but yeah. But I could see that in the plans. I could see that dip in the plans, and it's most certainly there. It's a real thing. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, that's my little extra update.